I was thinking back about something that was a couple years ago now of going to Argentina and Brazil after a breakup. And I was thinking about it and it made me think about freedom. And as guys, sometimes the things we do, they seem like freedom, but they're really the illusion of freedom. Like, think about it. If you're at a certain age and you're unsupervised by adults, you might think like, wow, it's so cool. I can stay up till 2 a.m. Like, you're a kid, you're 12. And there's someone's parents are out of town. And that feels very liberating. Now, your 40s or 50s, staying up till 2 a.m. could once in a while feel like freedom. It could also feel like something that actually takes away from another part of your freedom. As men and as we evolve, we have to start looking at, is what I'm doing actually making me free, or is it giving me the illusion of freedom? And usually we'll have these, what can be diametrically opposed of freedom versus responsibility. Not knowing that actually having responsibilities that we want could set us free in a totally unique way. But more on that in a minute. So I'm in Brazil a couple years ago, and I had this breakup. Bro, it was rough. It had been a few months. I'm in Florianopolis in the south of Brazil. I'm leaving Colombia for, I think, 10 weeks. Right now, I'm currently in the States. I just moved back from Colombia, like right now in this moment, 2 weeks ago. So I'm back in America for the foreseeable future. But this is years ago. I'm in the south of Brazil. And I was like, I can do whatever I want. I know it's time to get out of Colombia for a bit. I'm free. I can go out and I'm having like pizza every night. This, Italian pasta. It's delicious. A lot of Italian stuff in Florianopolis. Yeah, I have a couple martinis. It's not too much, which I think I drank more in Brazil back then in a month than I normally would drink in a couple years. So I'm like, it's just I'm on vacation and I'm free. It's freedom. So I'm doing this, and I'm trying to tell myself that I'm having a good time. And in some ways I did. And in a lot of ways I didn't. And sleeping around in Brazil, as one does, or back then at that phase of my life at least, eating crappy food, buying junk food at 10 o'clock at night, and buying alcohol after I left the restaurant, whatever it was. And this was super unusual behavior for me a few years ago, because that wasn't stuff that happened years before then. So it was like, oh no, I'm free. I'm free. I could be in a different country. I could travel to this country. I can do whatever I want. I can go date this girl, sleep with this girl. Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Okay, I can go and eat this. And I remember there was someone who I admire him as a friend, as a man, as a husband, as a leader, as a father, which normally you don't tick all those boxes. And he said something about, posted a picture with his family, and it said some people, being alone and being free on Christmas. And it kind of just got me. I was like, fuck. He's right. I don't feel very free. I have like the illusion of freedom. I'm living in Medellin, Colombia, beautiful weather, gorgeous Colombian women everywhere. I'm going to some other paradise, except it's the beach in the south of Brazil. And there's been these times in my life, and maybe you can relate, where in the moment you feel like you're free or you're doing the right thing. And then you can look back, or even when I tell some of my stories, I look at them like, man, that was pretty much total bullshit, even though I really didn't think it was. And as guys, when it comes to, it can show up in some big ways. We'll talk about a couple. Sleeping around or having casual sex, drugs and alcohol, even if they're just on the weekend or just once a month, or it's organic weed and it helps you sleep, or some BS my buddy was telling me the other day, well, I was in Europe and the beer is from this whatever hops and it's gluten-free. These stories we can tell ourselves of why we're ultimately avoiding things. Being in a relationship with someone we really like and we want to build a future with, that's like its own never-ending ayahuasca retreat. where we're going to learn, we're going to grow, we're going to have stuff come up that we totally don't want to see. It's going to bring up pain, even though if that's not its intention. And as guys, and I predict it's for a lot of guys in the future, it's going to get worse because now guys can make money online. You can get peptides, TRT, personal trainer, fly to another country, or if you have enough money, bring the Instagram model to you. So it'll get us more disconnected from the truth of who we really are. And I'm some bald dude from Wisconsin. I'm not here to tell you the truth of who you really are, but why I wanted to make this video is for you to take a look at you and see, is what you're living in your life really true to you? When I look back and being in Brazil and then Argentina, what I was calling freedom was maybe me needing to get out of the Colombia for a bit and have a break and something new. But I quickly realized there was stuff I still needed to work on from my past relationship. And it was the illusion of freedom. One thing that really fucks over our freedom as a man is bowing down or being submissive to the illusion of freedom. But it gives this, it's kind of like doing drugs. It would be like doing drugs, or even better, eating sugar a lot constantly to think that's how you're gonna have like a good level of energy. It's probably not gonna work. Well, it works short term, it doesn't work sustainably. So when we pursue these things simply in the name of freedom, we end up being a slave. So as this adventure went a couple years ago in Argentina and Brazil, I was telling myself the story. I was, trying something new and this and that and pursuing freedom, but I was actually being a slave to living in the moment, a slave to my own sexual desires, a slave to wanting to eat crappy food at the Italian restaurant, to order junk food, to drink booze, being a slave. So as I wrap this video up in a second, I invite you to look at your life and see, where have the shackles been on in your own life? You don't need me to help you. It can be simply asking the question, sitting, look at yourself in the camera, or even better, look at yourself in front of the mirror, and to be real with yourself of where you've been a slave. If you want a pro tip, buy something that reminds you of being a slave and put it somewhere around your house so you have to see it every day. I've done this, I've had clients do this, so if they're smoking weed, drinking, porn, whatever the thing is, buy handcuffs or buy shackles. Mine were these gold shackles, I left them in Colombia. That every time I smoked weed back then, this is many years ago, I had to look at that every night. And I gave myself permission to smoke back then, but I just had to accept that I was a slave. I was no longer aware, or I was aware that it was no longer the freedom or the illusion of freedom that if I was choosing marijuana back then every night, or was choosing slavery, except I was one putting myself in jail. Something to reflect on before you go to bed or as you wake up. See you soon. Don't be a slave. Be you.